didn't see you there. Wait, yes I did. I could see you because you're staring right at me, you f***ing sex pest. Get out of my room! Anyway, hi, hello, good to see you. God, it's been a bit since I've done one of these videos, eh? One of these fireside chats. Anyway, you'd have thought by now that it's all Caldwell's and candy bars, but no. I still have things to show you and to explain. Oh, might be dead here. We're dead here.
Oh, that was spicy.
Limit this in place.
Tag, but no death.
Yeah, I'm just built to. Today's video is going to cover things that you probably do know, but don't do? Or maybe it's things that you probably just don't know in general. You know, it's like when you cross the road, you look both ways, alright? Simple stuff like that. Or maybe you don't look both ways because you're just too much of a Chad champion and you don't care and you just walk across. Regardless, you get me. I'm going to be telling you some things which I think are pretty nifty and pretty cool, and I really don't see enough people do them, so here we go. On more than one occasion, I've performed one of these following things. Usually when I stream the game, but sometimes when I just play it, and the general reaction will be, you can do that, or someone will actually say it, but instead they won't actually say the words, but they'll clip it, they'll clip what I did, and then they'll title the clip, you know, wow, you can actually do this? And yes, you can do this. I see you there, clipping things, you clipping clippers of clipness. You think I didn't see you naming things, being like, oh my god, you can do that? Well, yes, you can do that, Linda. You can. And now, I'm gonna explain it. So, big bold disclaimer before I dive into this one.
Console players, console players, attention. You are out of luck, buddy.
Because my first piece of advice is to change your key bindings. Yeah, your key bindings. You know, your keys on a keyboard. I'm sorry, console players. Scrolling your weapons in Hunt is perfectly serviceable. And I understand that consoles have a wheel. I get it. It's fine. I'm talking to the PC gamers here, okay? The PC Master Race, I suppose. Your scrolling is perfectly serviceable. That's fine. But you'll notice when you scroll your weapons, there is a slight delay of about 0.5 to a second thereabouts, where the selection reticle will hover over the selected item to confirm that this is the correct thing that you have selected before selecting it. That 0 and a bit seconds is valuable when you're being shot at and you're running for your life. It also has the problem that sometimes when you're scrolling something, you'll actually scroll past what you want to hit and you'll instead land on something completely different. And I know for a fact that some of you are watching right now, and I know I've done this, and you'll scroll to your vitality shot, but instead you'll land on your throwable, right? Like you're trying to get your vit shot, but you'll just hit your grenades and you'll accidentally lob a grenade because you're panicking. I've definitely done that. And so the reason how I stopped doing that is I bound my frickin' keys, man. You bind your keys. Binding your keys stops the selection reticle because the game knows that that's the key you've bound it to, and the game instantly knows that this is what they wanted to press. There's no need to worry, and will instantly swap to it. So make sure that everything that you need is key bound. It's just an absolute priority if you want to take things seriously. On that note, and it's my second point really, it leads into it, if you want to make sure that the key bindings that you're going to be using are actually something accessible and easy to remember, that, you know, sounds pretty par for the course, sounds pretty normal. But a lot of people, I find, don't do that. So, for example, and we'll get to this one later, it's about Darksight's key binding, okay? This is the footnote, Darksight's key binding, but we'll get to that. For me personally, my items are always placed in the same spot because I always have them bound to particular keys. So, my medkit, for example, is always bound to V. My vitality shots are always side mouse button, which is macro to \. And my first throwable next to the medkit, next to my vitality shots is Z, and my second throwable is C. And having these as clear pressable buttons in the heat of the moment will save you when you need it most. So if I need to heal, I press side mouse button. If I need to throw something, I press Z or C. I know exactly what I'm getting. I'm not going to accidentally scroll to it. So the dark side I just touched on briefly. That's a very particular one that I want to talk about because this one really is personal preference, but I'm going to make a case for it and I hope that you agree. So my fourth tool slot, as in next to my med kit, my bindings will go weapon, weapon, melee, choke bomb, med kit, fourth tool slot. My fourth tool slot is bound to E. In that fourth tool slot is always something that I'll need in a hurry. I'm talking there is only a limited amount of things that go in here, but those things are quad derringer, my throwable tomahawk, throwable knife, or a decoy fuse. Because E is a very good Jesus panic button, okay? It's very easy to press. It's right above D, it's right next to R. It's a very good key binding. So if you take a look at your keyboard, you'll find that probably most of you play with WSAD. And E, like I said, it's just above D, it's just the left of R. It's a very good key binding. And by default, E is bound to dark side, which although a great ability is horrible binding for it. It's a horrible binding for it. I mean, think about it, right? Whenever, ever do you absolutely right this moment, you can even hear me just clapping my hands together, right? When do you absolutely need to use dark side? Think about it, right? You do need to use it, but most likely when you do need to use it, it's empowered dark side. Not just regular dark side, it's empowered dark side. And if you are using empowered dark side, it's usually for about a second, maybe two, because you don't want to burn through the empowered dark side scan that you've got. So really, having such a crucial ability that you're only going to use maybe 10% of the game, if that, bound to E, or sometimes not at all if you're playing in duos and trios and your friends are scanning for you, right? Sometimes not even that. You don't need that bound to E. You just don't. You have a really, really niche ability on a binding that you could possibly use all the time. So as a result, I've moved it off there because having an ability you rarely use on a button that's so easily accessible, to me personally, doesn't make sense. And I hope that you'll agree with me. So I have assigned my fourth tool slot as E, and as a result, dark side is now on left alt on my keyboard. Left alt. Next to the Windows key if you have one of those, and the space bar. Because you're not accidentally going to hit left alt pretty much ever. Your thumb should probably be resting comfortably in the middle of your space. You're never going to accidentally fat finger it. You're never going to accidentally hit it. When you need it, you can press it, and you're not even going to be pressing it for long, and you can just tap it. E should be a priority binding, and for me, it always is. Again, personal preference, but I think you'll agree if you give it a crack. So, next up, moving on from that, I really want to talk quickly about the loadout system in Hunt. The loadouts are very, very important because they, other than helping you ready up really, really quickly, they also actually help diversify your game choices. I've got some footage here briefly of showing my loadouts and how I've named them all, which is, they're quite funny, I suppose, but really, other than having a complete blank slate, which you probably want to have, more importantly, other than having, like, you know, a close range loadout or a shooty bang, far range sniping loadout, what you really want more than anything is just a base kit. And you can see I've got one here, and it's just called base kit. It's my base kit loadout. I've got that there simply because I equip whatever weapons I want, and I know for a fact that my tools and consumables will be the same pretty much always. So if you're not using the loadout system, absolutely do it. It's very simple, very easy. I think the game gives you 2 to start off with. Actually, it might even be more than 2. I think they give you 4. But if they do give you 2, just have one as your base kit, and something else is, I don't know, a meme, if that's what you want. Okay, so next up, I want to talk about something which it doesn't seem like it's something you really need to do, but it really, really is. And that's separating your jump and your vault key. So, on keyboard by default, the jump and the vault are actually one button. They're combined together within the spacebar. If you press space, you will jump. If contextually you are next to a wall or a vaultable surface and you're right enough close to it, you press space. Instead of jumping, if you're angled correctly, you'll vault. Now, this is fine if that's actually what you plan to do, but I know this has happened to some of you, but how many times roughly has it happened? You're finding someone on a fence line, right? You're ADing like I'm doing here, and you go to jump sideways, but instead of being shot at, right, instead of avoiding it, you just vault the fence. You take a bullet to the face, and then you just f***ing die, and you look stupid in the process. Or, even more embarrassingly, which I know that I've done, you vault a fence, and you plummet to your death, because you're fighting in some sniper tower, right? And you're just trying to dodge a bullet from someone pinging at you. Instead, you vault the bloody railing and you fall to your death like an idiot. Ugh. I've done that before. Definitely. This is particularly obvious in sniper towers or second-story buildings with rails. Prison is a very big offender of this. Prison. Yeah, prison's a lot of rails, man. A lot of second-story railings. There's even a third-story railing up top of the tower, and you'll vault that frequently. So separating the two will make sure that you're not going to accidentally do that. So for me personally, my jump is bound to space, with my vault key being bound to B on the keyboard. It took me a bit of getting used to, I will admit, but once I did, not a problem. Vaulting to snap, EZPZ. I just press B and I vault it, and I can press space all day long next to a fence and I'll never actually vault it, which is fine. It took me some getting used to, like I said, like about a game or two, and then I got it down. That's a big quality of life change, at least for me personally, and hopefully you'll agree. So on that note though, there are some areas in the map that actually you can access them by jumping, but they are substantially easier to access while jumping if vault and jump are bound separately. So if you've got it all on the one button, it's a bit difficult, but if they're bound separately, it's a lot easier. For example, I'm showing it here. Cypress has a little fenced-off wall that you can jump over. Now, I'm sure many of you know this, but if you don't know this, there is a log approaching from the pitching side and Devant Ranch side towards Cypress. You can jump on this little log on this tree here, and if you're right on the tip of it, you can angle towards the fence, walk forward a bit, and vault over the fence. If you have jump and vault on the same key, it's very hard to do. The timing's really tight. But if you've got vault and jump bound separately, you can just mash this button. You can mash vault, and as long as you walk towards the right angle, you'll vault this. I'm about to do this 3 times in a row to show you that you can absolutely do this with enough practice, and it makes approaching this compound so much easier. You don't have to crawl through the hole and expose yourself. You can just jump, vault, and continue onwards. It makes pushing this compound from that particular side a lot easier. So next up is a small one. It's shown in the trial system in the game, and we will touch on trials later. But choke bombs. Yeah, choke bombs are... This is a small note, but choke bombs kill immolators. I've noticed people have asked me, they go, what? It kills... Yeah, man, choke bombs kill immolators. I've seen a lot of people not notice that, but if you throw a choke bomb and a choke bomb cloud and an immolator touches that cloud, even touches the cloud, it just insta-kills it. You don't have to hit the immolator with the cloud directly. The immolator can run through it. Similar to how zombies or armoreds will run through fire pits if they chase you and they'll burn, and an immolator, if it runs through a choke cloud, will just die immediately. So please remember that. Please use that to your advantage. There's been times when I've been out of stamina. I've definitely got clips of it somewhere, but I've been out of stamina and I know I'm going to die, and I've aggroed 1 or maybe 2 immolators, and I just throw a choke bomb on the ground. Sure, it costs me a choke bomb, but I don't have the stamina to punch on with 2 of them, and a choke bomb just takes care of the problem immediately. So remember that. On the topic of fire, actually, crows, those annoying little birds, they can be burned out with lanterns or firebombs. A firebomb is a bit of a resource waste, but if you absolutely, or even Dragon's Breath, actually, Dragon's Breath shells on a shotgun will do it. If you absolutely need to get rid of some crows and you don't want to make noise, you can just throw a lantern at the pack of crows, and the crows will they'll die. Just throw it in the middle, easy peasy. And so for the last little small thing I wanted to touch on here is before, that choke bomb tip I mentioned is shown to you in the solo trial system in the game that Hunt has. And I'm sure many of you have completed these just for a bit of fun, you know, cool skins or whatever. But one thing that the game doesn't actually tell you is that the hunter that you have selected in your bounty hunt mode when you enter the trial is the hunter that you'll take into the trial. And as a result, you will have whatever trait that hunter has will be on the hunter in the trial. For example, if you want to, for right here, I'm going to show you a trial that I'm doing that if I have levering on this Winfield, it's going to make it so much easier. This is a hunter without levering going into the trial. And you can see I kind of get stuck at this bit here. It's kind of like, ugh, goodness God, I wish I had levering. And then you can see me try it again with levering, and it's just a snap. I just breeze through it, right? I still get hit because I'm an idiot, but the point is I breeze through it. So if you are doing the trial systems and there's some trials that you really want to get done, like the sniper challenges or some of the sprinting challenges or some of the killing enemies in a quicker time challenge, having traits on the hunter like levering, fanning, or one of the scope smiths will help you greatly. If you want to nail that 3-star rating, I highly, highly encourage you to purchase a hunter, go in with a hunter, get the traits that you want in a bounty hunt game or a quick play if you can, or just get the trait points, I suppose, and then as a result, go into the trial mode with the traits that you want. It will help you greatly. Anyway, that's it for me. Those are some small, or not so small, depending, hunt quality of life things and some tips that, as I said, you might know, but you might not know. A lot of these are personal preference, but I do get asked them a lot. In fact, I got asked them so much that I thought, you know, just I'm going to do a video on it and explain this is what I do, this is why I do it, and hopefully it has been some help to you. If you like this or you found this helpful, feel free to leave a like if that's what you want to do. If not, no sweat. I stream a variety of stuff 6 days a week, not just hunt, but a lot of hunt, and I'm happy to answer any questions regardless of what I'm playing. So if you can't catch me here in the comment section, by all means, jump on. I'm usually live, 7 to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. Ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer it. Hopefully I can anyway. Anyway, hope that works for you. Other than that, I hope you're all having a fantastic start to 2022. My name is Alan. I go by Geef, and I'll see you all in the bayou. Unless I'm playing Kane, in which case you'll never see me because I'm a ghost. God, why is this skin in the game?